to get exactly what you are looking for. Our homepage features some of the most visited pages on our website. Be sure to explore news, the calendar, SCP alerts, SCP TV, and our social media sites as well. Analytics show more people visiting our site on a mobile device than ever before. That is why it was crucial that we create a user-friendly experience for both desktop and mobile users. To achieve this, we now use large buttons on all of our pages, making finding information, forms, and other links easier as well. Additionally, all pages on the site are responsive and viewable on mobile devices. The new St. Charles Parish website was redesigned with our residents in mind. Come and experience stcharlesparish.gov today.
In St. Charles Parish, the recreational activities we enjoy are varied and many. However, Hurricane Ida has severely hampered our ability to make use of some of our most recognized.
Good evening, and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, December 20th, 2021, at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Reverend Marilyn Diggs with Mount Zion Community Church in Boutique.
Let us bow our head in submission. Father, we come in the name of Jesus, just so grateful and thankful for another day that you have blessed us with. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for how you've watched over us, you've kept us, you've protected us, you've allowed us to weather the storms in life and the physical storm. And we thank you for just allowing us to rebuild. We thank you for our parish president and the council. We pray that you would give them wisdom and knowledge and understanding. We pray for the constituents, oh God. We just ask that you would just continue to let this parish grow. And Lord Jesus, we know that we can't do nothing without you. We pray your blessings upon us, that you let your face shine upon us, and that you would grant us peace in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let us pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Diggs. Special business proclamations, canvass returns. Item number 2021-0320 in memorial, Mr. Mark Eric Weber. The Parish of St. Charles in memoriam, whereas on October 29th, 2021, Almighty God, in his infinite wisdom, saw fit to call from amongst us one of his most worthy servants, Mark Eric Weber. And whereas Mark, the son of the late Henry Charles Weber and the late Rosalind Karen Barovecchio, was born June 21st, 1971 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and was a resident of Metairie. And whereas Mark leaves behind his sister Christine Weber Williams, brother-in-law Mike Williams, nephew Michael Williams III, niece Catherine Williams, his devoted significant other, Candace Kane, and her daughter, Savannah, several aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. And whereas Mark was a 25-year employee of the United States Postal Service who spent much of his time in the St. Rose location, there he made enduring friendships with the residents and leaves behind a community full of people who felt a special connection with their friendly neighborhood postal clerk. And whereas Mark made visits to the St. Rose post office a little brighter and Christmas a little merrier for children who wrote letters to Santa Claus. He crafted handwritten reply letters for each child. And whereas Mark was an avid sports fan and would chat up visitors regularly about recent games, players in the news, and favorite teams which he had a strong recollection of. And whereas Mark was funny, thoughtful, and larger than life, he never met a stranger, and in his short time on earth touched hundreds of people who all called him friend. To his closest friends, he was Spud, or Charlie. Not only was he incredibly giving, but his exceptional memory, specifically regarding numbers and dates, meant that he never forgot a birthday or special occasion. He had an uncanny ability to reach out and say hi just when people needed it the most. And whereas on behalf of all citizens of the St. Charles Parish, the Parish Council, and Parish President wish to honor Mark Eric Weber as a dedicated public servant to the St. Rose community and the Parish of St. Charles. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, dutifully assemble on this 6th day of December 20th, day of December 2021, do hereby express our sincere sympathy to the family of Mark Eric Weber, June 21st, 1971 to October 29th, 2021. Be it further resolved that a page in the official minute book of the St. Charles Parish Council be set aside to recall this memoriam. And when this meeting is adjourned, it shall be done in memory of Mark Eric Weber. Here to accept would be Suzanne Scalise. I just want everyone to know that this was in my district, and I've known Mark a long time because my husband worked at the post office as well. And that's how we first met Mark, and then we just happened to move to St. Rose. So when I say he was the most friendliest person you would ever want to meet, and like you said, talk to everybody. It didn't matter the color of their skin. It didn't matter to him. He talked. And that's what made it so great to go to the post office. And you would just stand there and have a conversation with him when you could have left 15, 20 minutes. So I want to thank him for his service as well, and to the family.
Thank you very, very much. I'm Suzanne Scalise. I'm Mark's first cousin. He was like a sibling to me. I cannot tell you what it means to the family. He loved you all. He spoke so highly of everyone he came in contact with, and I can see how this parish is like a family. I've seen it now that he's passed. And I just, I want to tell you how grateful we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I just want to say to Kelly Fox, who was my student at Loyola Law School, I know that she was very involved in this, and I'm so proud of her and so grateful that she did this. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox, for even thinking of it. Thank you. Item number 2021-0240, Board of Review.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the St. Charles Parish Assessment Board of Review. This evening, we are here to present the 2021 assessment roll for St. Charles Parish. And I just got a quick fact sheet I'd like to cover. First, let me just start by saying that we're very fortunate. We do not have any appeals before you tonight. That's not always the case, though we've had very few in the past. But some parishes, Orleans, for example, get more than 10,000 appeals. You can imagine what it is sitting as a board of review, many meetings. So it's a credit to my staff and the work that they do that we've been able to meet with the 40,000 plus taxpayers in the parish and work with them. And again, once before, we're here once again without any appeals. Obviously, 2021 was a very challenging year in many ways, and also within the assessment business, as we've had extensive property damage, more so than we've ever experienced in any of the records that I can find. So this is truly an historic moment. Last year's tax roll, eighth largest in the state of Louisiana, came in at $1.7 billion. This year, the tax roll is at $1.6 billion. Had it not been for Ida, and we were actually in our public review period when Ida hit, the tax roll would have been more than it was last year. It would have been a record tax roll for St. Charles Parish had Ida not come in and do the damage it did. So our tax roll is about $100 million less, or to be exact, $96 million in assessed value less. From a tax standpoint, to give you an idea what that is to the overall taxing bodies of the parish, in 2020, the parish as a whole, all taxing bodies, school district, mosquito abatement district, library, hospital, law enforcement, collected $475,000 was in revenue was generated from property tax. This year, that number is down $189 million. So we're seeing about a 5.7% decline in revenue from property taxes across all assessment districts. Just some other notes that may be interesting to you in other areas that are not directly assessment related, but in far as the work that we did. Immediately following Ida's devastation here in the parish, we authorized flights over the entire parish. So we went and we captured all of the damage, and we've released that data. That data is available online. That information was used along with what would be the equivalent to Google mapping that you would see. It's called Site Visit 360. And we went out and we actually did a damage assessment across the parish, and that's how we've been able to properly assess all the residents and businesses in the parish, those overflights, those street view images, as well as sending out our field adjusters. And we've gone through many properties, but this is some data that we did collect. Homes that had very minor damage. We had 5,048 homes, or 26.6% of all the homes in the parish, that received very little damage. Slight damage, slight to what we could say is minor damage, 3,753, or 19.7% of the homes. Moderate damaged homes, 6,482, and that's 34.1% of all homes. Major damage, 3,236, and that's 17% of all homes. And extreme damage, 486, or 2.6% of all the home. So just kind of gives you an idea of the devastation. I know one thing, when I was in the emergency management business, one of the things was very hard to try to figure out how many homeowners, because planning and zoning has some data, but not every home has a permit, because some things preceded, but everybody pays taxes, so this number is pretty conclusive. One of the things too, I'm just looking at it this evening, this would indicate the type of damage we've had, would indicate that the sustained winds here were probably somewhere between 90 and 110 miles an hour with gusts to 120. I get that question a lot, but it's not the 140 mile an hour winds that everybody, some people say that we've had, but we didn't really experience that. But we did get the 90 to 110 miles an hour, and this damage matches with that very well. So it's the worst damage we've had. I am sorry to report that our work this year has determined that we've got over 180 businesses that are in long-term closure that we do not expect. They are certainly not back this year, and we do not anticipate them being back next year. So it's over 180 small businesses that are now gone, and that's a 25% reduction of our entire tax roll in terms of numbers of small businesses. So that, you want to see the economic impact, that's quite substantial, 25% reduction of all of the different businesses that we have on our tax roll. And this is long term. This is not a temporary closure for Ida. This is going to be beyond that. Couple things, questions that we're getting from property tax questions we're getting from homeowners and businesses. Every single property tax, what we call a parcel, every single taxpayer within St. Charles Parish got some relief. There was an across-the-board relief given to every single taxpayer. There was no one left out in that. And the difference is some parishes gave just that blanket relief. I believe in St. James it was 7%. It was around 5% in St. John, and it was it's somewhere in the same neighborhood around in Lafourche Parish. I've been really working with the fellow assessors on that. Many of the assessors again just gave the blanket only, but what we saw was some extreme damage in our area. But at the same time, we saw some homes didn't have any damage. Just the difference between my home and my chief deputy, we're just a couple homes apart from each other. My home's 90% gutted and has substantial damage in hundreds of thousands, and his home had minor damage. So we saw that variability. So we did go out and again we adjusted everyone's property based upon the damage that they experienced. So I've already got a number of questions where people are looking and saying, well, the home across the street is substantially paying less than us. And I got to ask and say, well, did it get substantially damaged compared to you? Oh, yeah, their home's destroyed, mine's not. Well, that's the difference in the tax roll. Some of these homes are going to continue to be discounted next year. The majority of these, what we call IDA zeros and IDA ones, are somewhere around 40% of the homes will be brought back to their full value for next year. We will not be raising anybody's taxes next year, nor will you be raising anybody's taxes next year, but just the homeowners are going to see the difference. Their taxes are down this year, and then it's going to go up next year. I've had a number of homeowners concerned about their escrow, and I want you to be aware of that because it is something to be in knowledge about. The escrows are going to change regardless, as I told one homeowner, because insurance rates are changing. All of these changes that we've made here, there are some consequences that come out of it. First off, our tax roll is late. We already had set a meeting in September, and I was going to be before this board of review in September. And we already had the date and everything scheduled, and we were in the public period. We missed the public exposure by one day. IDA changed that. We had to shut our office down that Friday, and that was our last day that we had public exposure of the roll. Because of that, we're now 3 months back. And the new tax bills, or the tax bills for 2021, will not be received by the taxpayers until 2022. And there are a couple consequences for both the taxpayer and you as a taxing body. You will not be receiving your funds that you typically would in early January. The due date, as of now, working with the sheriff, we are anticipating that property taxes will be due February 28th versus January 31st. And that's when they typically would build. They actually normally do December 31st. And sometimes they offer a grace period. So we're actually 2 months behind with the tax roll. And it was that we had to, in order to go in and do the reassessment as appropriately. So that's the consequence of all the taxing bodies. All the taxing bodies will be 2 months into their new fiscal years in some cases, and you will not have the revenue derived from the property taxes. For the homeowner, it is going to be changes in escrow. There's very little we can do about it. I've had someone call in and they're upset because they're not getting the bill for this year, so they can't take it off their income tax. Those things, it's all part of the storm. You know, the reason why we don't have street lights, or the reason why, you know, some people are living in trailers, and that's just one of the other consequences of the storm, is that these tax bills are coming out in 2022. So just wanted to make you aware, because, you know, some citizens have already called and expressed some of those concerns. You know, they're going to have to work with their escrow, their lender, and work with their escrow. And there are consequences to everything that we've done. But overall, I think my staff has done a fantastic job and presents you with the tax roll for 2021. So this time I'll take any questions that you may have.
Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tab, so on these classifications of minor, moderate, major, have you had to go back and change some of your numbers and basically look at some? Because from your first pass, they didn't have damage. I didn't say structural damage, but all of a sudden, Michael's people going out there and they're applying for roof remodel because the inside of the house is just totally gutted. Same. I know you're facing the same thing. You and I both are facing, right? So
yeah.
I just want to have you had to go back and change those percentages.
Councilman Fisher, yes, there were many changes that had to take place. Our method going in was a little different than some of the other assessment districts. Some of the other assessment districts said, here's for example, in St. James, 7% across the board regardless of damage, and then if you had further damage, you would have to come in individually and show proof. And that's something I wanted to avoid for our residents. I'm in a situation many of our residents are in where I've got a lot of damage, and the last place I feel like coming is coming to the courthouse, come and meet with some public official, or getting in line, being on the phone to show something that I feel as the elected tax assessor. I already know that damage has taken place. So we did everything we could to identify the damage, but as you're stating, we did find that there was additional damage. We did capture that to our best of our ability. We did make a big public push to say that please check your assessment online, and if that didn't fit and it wasn't enough, to come back and get it and talk with. So we did do that, and still going forward after tonight, you know, the tax roll is closed. When you as a board of review vote on it tonight, we're going to certify it. We're going to send it off to the Louisiana Tax Commission. We are expecting approval at their January 5th meeting. Tax roll is closed at that point. We can still make changes, but the mechanics are different, because at that point we have an approved roll. So we would have to petition the Louisiana Tax Commission to do a change order to say that we made an error and that we've erred and we did not capture that damage previously. And then it's just the mechanics are different. I just want the residents to know. That's why I made the big push. You know, before tonight, I'm able to make whatever changes we need to make without the approval of any other body. But now that changes. But we still want residents to come forward if they feel like the assessment did not cover the damage. But we were very generous. And that resulted in a 5.6% total reduction in the tax roll. So that's really not that bad, because I just told you, you know, St. James, they gave 7%, they gave more. We gave more to residents that were you know, more heavily impacted. But at the end of the day, the overall tax roll is only down 5.6%, which is a lot better than my anticipated forecast.
And what is that in a monetary figure? Is that?
So it's $11 million total of all taxing bodies that we're going to collect. $11 million total. In general, just shy of half of that is a loss that the school system will be taking. So they'll be taking somewhere around $5 million. The sheriff's going to lose about $2.5 million, and the remainder is with all of the taxing bodies that are under the authority of you as the parish council would be having a loss of probably about $2.5 million for you guys in total.
Okay, Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Mr. Assessor, I just want to say on just behalf of myself, thanks for springing into action immediately after the storm and getting that aerial photography done. I know a lot of people who were able to use that not only for their purposes, their tax purposes, especially for residents who are out of town or who are property owners who live out of town, they were able to use that. And then many people have told me they were able to use that with their insurance company as well. They've cleaned up their yard. The insurance adjuster comes, might be giving them a hard time. Well, here you go. Here's an aerial photo of my house after the storm. You know, take a look for yourself. So I appreciate y'all doing that, and I appreciate y'all using, you know, every technology and tool in the toolkit to help get this job done.
Thank you, and that's a public record going forward, so God forbid something like that happens again, but it's on the public record. We have it, and we have an understanding of that damage going forward.
Any more council discussion? A motion and a second is needed to accept and certify the 2021 assessment roll as submitted by the assessor to the Louisiana Tax Commission. I have a motion by Mr. Fisher and a second by Ms. Fonseca. Please cast your votes to accept and certify the 2021 assessment roll as submitted by the assessor to the Louisiana Tax Commission. And that passes unanimously.
All right, thank you all. Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas to you. Item number 2021-0326, a resolution indicating the intention of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, to become a participating political subdivision of the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority, approving the appointment of a director to represent the parish on the board of directors of the authority, and otherwise providing with respect thereto as provided by Chapter 10-D and Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended. Mr. Jason Akers.
Okay. Thank you, Chairwoman and council members. Jason Akers with Foley Udell. These two resolutions actually are somewhat companion items, so I'm going to speak about them kind of globally together, and then for the second one, I'll go a little bit more in detail to the Go Mesa process. However, this first resolution is the first step to authorizing the leveraging of your Go Mesa Phase 2 revenues into bond proceeds to be used for construction projects within the parish. There is a program that has been established, meaning not necessarily a formulaic program, but at least an investor anticipation of other parishes that have issued Go Mesa secured bonds through the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority. This authority is a statewide organization that was established by statute decades ago. It exists to assist parishes, all political subdivisions, in financing some more complicated projects. So if you're doing a tax-secured borrowing or a sales tax-secured borrowing or something like that, you can always do that on your own, and there's little reason for you to use a conduit issuer like LCDA, which we call the authority for short. But when you have a more complicated financing, like a Go Mesa secured revenue, LCDA is there to provide a trustee-type trust estate structure so that you make your payments to a trustee who then makes them over to the bondholders. It's a more established structure, and it's what the investors anticipate seeing. So with the first resolution, you'll be authorizing the parish's membership in LCDA. It's never been a member before, so we need to authorize the joining of the authority. And then there's an appointment of a director that is actually in brackets in that resolution. Most parishes that participate actually appoint their parish president if they have a parish president / council structure. Not all, but most do. So we included in the resolution in blanks the parish president. However, that's something that needs to be approved by the council. So with that, as I said, that's the first resolution. I'll give you a second to discuss. I'm happy to answer any questions before we move on to the next one.
File number 2021-0326 is now open for public comment. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0326.
May I ask for clarification that that would be with the parish president appointed as the director?
This one's for the authority for the directors, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's just in brackets in the resolution that was in your agenda. I want to make sure we have authority to remove those brackets. Thank
The
you.
next one is for,
Motion to amend to remove the brackets around the director's name.
I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Mr. Fisher to remove the brackets around the authority, right? Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Now we're doing,
You have to go back and vote on the item
Right.
as amended.
file number 2021-0326. Council, please vote on that one.
As amended with the
Oh,
brackets removed.
sorry. As amended, the brackets. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0327. A resolution indicating the intention of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, to proceed with the issuance of not to exceed $15 million Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority revenue bonds, St. Charles Parish GOMESA project, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Akers?
Thank you again. This is the first step in the process to begin leveraging GOMESA funds for construction projects within the parish. This would authorize the LCDA to proceed with the issuance. Now, this will have to come back to you in an ordinance before we're ready to move forward. However, the way the structure works is that you will enter into an agreement with LCDA. If we go forward and sell, and assuming you approve with the ordinance, you'll enter into an agreement with LCDA whereby as you receive GOMESA Phase 2 revenues at any point in the future, you'll actually pay them over to a trustee. And that trustee will take them and filter them through a waterfall of revenues to make sure that all the interest is paid, all the anticipated principal is paid, and if there's any left over, it gets split evenly between the parish and the bondholders. These are secured solely by the GOMESA revenues. That means that if for some reason Congress discontinues GOMESA Phase 2 in the future, then that's not going to be, the parish itself doesn't have to come up with any funds to make the payments due on the bonds. If in the future Congress increases the amount of GOMESA Phase 2 revenues, then that increased amount actually gets split between the bondholders and the parish so that you actually pay off the debt much sooner than anticipated. Right now, we're asking you to approve parameters not exceeding $15 million, not exceeding an interest rate of 6%, and then let me make sure I said that. Not exceeding 6% interest rate, and then with a maximum term not exceeding November 1 of 2047. This is in line with the other transactions that have been done throughout the state, and we're optimistic we'll be able to move forward and get it closed. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. From here, we'll be making application to the LCDA and also to the State Bond Commission for approval, and so we should have those approvals in hand before we come back to you for that ordinance that I mentioned earlier.
File number 2021-0327 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0327. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reports, finance, and administrative activities. Item number 2021-0321, River Parish's Transit Authority. Mr. Rob Killebrew.
Good evening. My name is Rob Killebrew. I'm the general manager for River Parish's Transit Authority. Just to give you a little briefing on what it is, it's a public transportation authority that provides public transportation to the river parishes. It is a on-demand service that began in February 2009. The fare for a one-way trip is $2. Our service hours are Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and on Saturdays from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Connecting services, we connect with St. James Parish Transit, Jefferson Parish Transit, and the RTA. This year, we were able to purchase two 12-passenger vehicles for revenue service to help for the aging fleet, and one support vehicle. They do have security cameras, wheelchair lifts, and bicycle racks for the riding public. So in 2020, ridership was 14,775 riders. This year in 2021, year to date as of October 31st is 10,405. We operate 3 vehicles in service Monday through Friday with a total of 43 hours of service. On Saturdays, we operate 2 vehicles for a total of 28 hours of service. So St. Charles Parish, in 2021, an average of 35% of our riders originated their trips, and 32% ended their trips in St. Charles Parish. Majority of those riders are work-based, so they're either getting picked up from their home and taken to work, or they are returning home from work. The remaining trips are primarily medical related, such as dialysis trips. As you can see here, about 95% of all riders are based in St. John the Baptist or in St. Charles parishes. So over the years, since we started in 2009, over the years there has been a demand and a request for increased service. So Saturday service began in February of 2014. We operate 2 vehicles for a total of 14 hours apiece, so 28 hours per day. And then weekday service was another request and a demand by the passengers. That began in March of 2017, and we actually added 2 vehicles 30 minutes earlier in the day to be able to get people to and from their appointments and their jobs sooner in the day. This is our service area for the river parishes. So we're funded by grants, we're funded by farebox revenue, and we're funded by local match. The grants are for capital improvements such as purchasing vehicles, preventative maintenance, which is maintenance on the vehicles, operations. The Saturday service was an urban grant. Weekday and Saturday rural was also funded by a grant. as you can see, the fare box revenue and the local match of $325,000 annually comes from the state, St. John, and St. Charles parishes. So our challenges with public transit isn't just for RPTA, it's across the country. They do not pay for themselves with fare revenue alone. As we've moved more from a urban to rural, the funding has changed. In 2017 and 2019, 16% of operational expenses were not reimbursed by state or federal funds. Several federal grants that were once available to systems like ours are no longer being offered by the FTA. Beginning in March 2020, the RPTA has received 100% funding through the CARES Act and other fundings through the Federal Transit Administration. So one of the things that we were excited about this year is a new way to RPTA. And if you get on our website, you can see that's one of the main things that you see whenever you first get there. The RPTA board was approached Transdev, the service provider, and was looking for new ways to provide a service to our passengers. And one of the things that we were excited about is the rollout of an innovative solution, one of them being Cityways or the Link app. So Transdev worked with the RPTA board, and we came up with a innovative solution to be able to call and schedule your rides using an app or the web. It's an on-demand type service, so obviously you get on your phone, you get on the app, and you're able to schedule and book rides. The idea behind that is to be able to become more fuel efficient, share rides together, and become more efficient on fuel consumption and lower the mileage. Passenger response has been extremely positive. Nearly 79% of all the trips do not go through a phone anymore to our reservationists. They they do the trips and the books on their own. So they actually go to the website or they go to an app and they schedule their trips. One of the other nice things is 4.88 stars is the average rating per trip, which means that our operators are doing a great job. They're on time, and they're taking care of our passengers. Shared booking rates, so that means more than one person is riding in the vehicle, have gone up. Our mileage has gone down, and therefore our fuel consumption and are much lower. So this is our organization with the RPTA board members. We contract out with Transdev for operations and grants management, and we contract out with Solution for accounting and oversight. Myself, general manager, and Mr. Corey is our board chairman. Does anybody have any questions?
Ms. Cooley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can kids ride without parents or adults?
Yes, ma'am, they can.
At what age?
Well, there's no specific age, so it would be
like an 8-year-old could book a trip.
That would I'll have to get back to you on that, but I wouldn't feel comfortable having my 8-year-old ride by themselves.
Okay. So you can request a ride same day, like at 10 o'clock. You can order or request a pickup for during the day, and that's acceptable?
It is acceptable. We try to go 24 hours in advance, so at least 24 hours in advance. Very rarely are you going to be able to do a same-day schedule, a same-day pickup.
Okay, so that's kind of limited. Same.
It is limited, yes.
For the most part, what kind of ride request do you have to decline most often?
Mainly it's going to be after hours and before hours. One of the things that I'm extremely proud of is as soon as we were impacted by Hurricane Ida, we were able to get back on the road super quick, and our ridership has started to increase back to our pre-hurricane levels. And most of our trips, using the app and using the algorithm for our scheduling software, most of our denials are going to be pre our start time and after our end time.
And if somebody is a regular rider, like if they go to work every day, do they have to call in every day?
They actually don't have to call in anymore. They actually can book their trips for days in advance. Mm-hmm. One of the interesting pieces to that is most of our passengers that are scheduling their trips are scheduling it for 10 and 12 days in advance. They're scheduling multiple trips.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions? That's it.
All right, thank you.
Item number 2021-0322, Workforce Innovations and Opportunity Act, WIOA. Mr. Tommy Scott.
Thank you and good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members, and President Jewell. I am Tommy Scott, Director of the Workforce Development Board. I have prepared a very brief presentation for you all just to give a summation of our entity and our operation, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have afterwards.
The Louisiana Workforce Commission strives to be the liaison amongst job seekers and employers. Our mantra is simply, we put people to work. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act provides framework for the workforce development system. It is constructed of local business-led boards to ensure beneficial partnerships that promote growth throughout our local economies. WIOA also strategically aligns workforce education and economic development partners. Workforce development provides preparation of the workforce to meet the demands of business, recruitment and matching of qualified applicants with jobs, career guidance, education and training in high-demand, high-wage jobs. Our main area of emphasis is to be the workforce broker for our residents and employers. We aim to do so by linking employers and job seekers to training programs that promote long-term employability. We also strive to prepare youth for employment by providing current labor market information and available career opportunities. LWC provides training assistance to eligible residents that allows us to pay for their tuition for trainings in high-demand occupations up to $5,000. LWC also provides supportive services which encompasses everything necessary to complete the curriculum in question. Examples of possible support include books, uniform, safety equipment, and tools. LWC provides businesses with a plethora of services, which include but are not limited to applicant recruitment and screening, job postings on our virtual job board, job fairs, and tax credit information. Employers can also take advantage of our on-the-job training program, through which we will pay up to 50% of a new employee's salary through the initial 90 days of their employment. We also feature customized training programs through which we create a training regimen specifically designed in conjunction with an employer to provide a new employee the skills needed to be successful in a new job. Additional information can be obtained online at www.laworks.net. Our local office can be contacted via phone at 985-783-5030, 985-783-5031, and 985-783-5032, or via email at riverparisheswioa@gmail.com. Thank you for your time. Tommy Scott will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Well, looks like we have no questions for you.
Okay, great. I'm sorry.
Ms. Cluley?
Does it
Yes,
help
ma'am.
you find people jobs because they have transportation in the parish, like the RPTA?
Transportation has been an ongoing issue, admittedly, across the board, so it can assist as well. We actually kind of work with RBTA to provide vouchers as one of our supportive services to, just to assist individuals, because it can be an issue, admittedly, but entities like RBTA are very helpful, and, we can definitely correlate and provide a mutual benefit to our residents.
So the cost for RPTA gets to be, it's $2.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's $4 a day.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. Yeah, $20 a week.
Yes, ma'am. But that's something, because the supportive services can encompass things such as books, PPE equipment, tuition, things of that nature. So if transportation were one of those needs as well, it is something that we could cover as well.
All right, thanks.
Any more questions, Mr. Scott? That's it. Thank you.
So, yeah, before I go, I just want to say that we do have a board which consists of volunteers from industry, employers, and other organizations that assist us. It's like you all as an advisory council. Mrs. Katie Kleiber, our chairperson, wanted to be here tonight. She did have a conflicting event. But I definitely just wanted to thank everyone that has volunteered and taken part in this board. They've been very instrumental in our continued success, and something that I think will be a great source of leverage for us to utilize moving forward, of course, with the continued support of this council and this administration. So thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2021-0296, Housing Authority. Ms. Leatrice Hollis.
Good evening. Thank you guys for rescheduling. I apologize for missing my original appointment. Do have a concussion. And I am violating my doctor's orders, but I thought it was important that I be here today to give you guys an update on the status of St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. My first presentation was PowerPoint. I don't have a PowerPoint, but I still have the same presentation. The board, the commissioners hired me, understanding that I did not have public housing experience, but I had a plethora of experiences in community development and affordable housing development. That was the mission, and that's where we are. To date, we have submitted our application to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We submitted our application in June of 2021, I'm sorry. Had some concerns about the bottleneck in the fact that the application wasn't moving forward, and literally worked with the congressman that represents this area to schedule a meeting in D.C. in January of 2022. That meeting is no longer necessary. Our application has moved from the New Orleans field office, and it is now in New Mexico. I'm comfortable with that move because the individual that's reviewing it is a person that literally helped mentor me when I first came here. So I'm confident about that process. The application, again, I'll just, for an overview, because we do have some new faces here and didn't get the original presentation. The application allows us to take our public housing units and move them from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We have a partnership that is in place with a for-profit developer that is doing the 4% tax credits, which is non-competitive. We have our lender that's going to do the interim construction loan for the financing of the construction process while we're before we implement the 4% tax credits. That has already been executed, and they are diligently working on moving forward once we get the final word from HUD. We also have in place our syndicator, which is a big deal with tax credits. You have to get a syndicator, and they're the individuals that use their money. They're the investors. All of those things are in place. I think that I've provided the information and copies of that to the previous council members. If anybody else wants to see that document, we can make sure that you get a copy of it. But most importantly, what I would like to say is that St. Charles Housing Authority is financially solid, financially strong. We've paid off our debts, and we have money in the bank. We've moved to the point where we are now doing collaborations with other entities. We partner with St. Charles Parish School Board to make sure that our kids had internet services. We paid for that, even though the school board was already providing that service. Because we had the opportunity to, we wanted to help. We wanted to help with that. We have partnered with We Made Foundation, which is awesome for us because it eliminates the need for us to create services to provide self-sufficiency and training and also other services. Rather than duplicate what they're doing, we partner with them. Whatever we could pay for, we will pay for it. And we have been paying for it. Yesterday we had an awesome toy giveaway at the True Vine Baptist Church in Hornville. So that is it. I don't have anything else new to say.
Any questions for Ms. Hollis? Ms. Cluley?
How many residents or homes or apartments do you provide throughout the parish?
I have a total of 129 units. Of that 129 units, only 77 are occupied. There was a decision, my decision, and supported by my commissioners, that we do not lease up. The reason we don't lease up is because of the conditions of the units that we have. Substandard. We have an aging population, which is why we need to do the conversion. So with that being said, I have 77 units that are occupied. Of the 77 units that's occupied, I have 7 families that are displaced as a result of Hurricane Ida. As it relates to our HCV program, which is the Section 8 program, we have a total of 300. I'm glad you asked the question because I wouldn't have talked about this. We have a total of 373 vouchers. Of that 373 vouchers, I only have 165 that are active. The others are not. One of the problems is history with the agency. So landowners and landlords had chosen not to participate in our program. But I want to say, in the last 3 years, every landlord that's participating in our program by the 5th or before of every month, their money is in their account, including during the hurricane. And I want to thank First National Bank because they help us get that done. But another issue is a misnomer. There's a misunderstanding of the Section 8 program. I think that we need to do a better job of educating people on that program because most of my voucher holders are school teachers. A lot of them are government employees. The intent of the voucher is to bridge the gap for affordability, which is a big deal in St. Charles Parish because our property value and the cost of rent. We pay market rent.
Do you have a problem finding, do you have a waiting list?
I do have a waiting list for public housing.
But not for Section 8?
For my Section 8 program, I have 30 people on the waiting list. Does not make sense to open up the waiting list. The process is that we open up an application process. People come and apply for the program. That application simply put them on the waiting list. And as units are available, then we remove them from the waiting list. But if I have 100+ vouchers that I can't issue right now because there's nowhere for them to go, it doesn't make sense to open a waiting list.
Okay, so you don't have houses available that are accept Section 8?
I don't have landlords that's willing to accept Section 8.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more council discussion or questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Hollis.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Item number 2021-0323, Parish President's Remarks Report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Just wait a second here to get that open. All right, we'll start with our debris deadline. As you recall, our original debris deadline was December 5th. That deadline was to put out the debris so we could start our final pass. A lot of residents called in. I know our council members received calls because I got calls from our council members that a lot of residents had not been able to start the construction process, whether that be gutting or repairs to their home, or maybe even cleaning up their yard because they were still waiting on their insurance company to give them their check. And being that we don't want to leave any residents kind of out in the cold per se, and we're still within the debris window that FEMA allows, we decided to extend that deadline by over a month to January 10th. So on January 10th, that will be the residents' last date to put out debris. On the 11th, the final pass will begin. And as a part of that process, there will be what they call closeout. So the debris monitor will follow the debris trucks, and they will make a drive down that street after that debris truck says they are complete, and then they will close out that street, meaning the street is clear of debris. After they do that for the entire parish, they will give that report to us. So once the street is closed out, if someone calls and says, hey, that my debris wasn't picked up, more than likely that debris was put out after the street was closed out. So we are encouraging residents to get your debris out by the 10th. Unfortunately, after that, residents will have to get a dumpster as they normally would under our current ordinances for the demolition project, or they will have to have their contractor remove the debris from the job. Ida sheltering, I want to pull something up here on my computer here. Okay, so to date, there have been a total of 18,000 people who have registered for a trailer. Not all of those people will get a trailer, and this, I should preface that this is for all of the parishes that were that had damage. So this just isn't St. Charles Parish. But to date, in Southeast Louisiana, 5,322 people have been sheltered through the state's Ida sheltering program. That is through 2,707 deployed units. St. Charles Parish specifically, we have 244 deployed units, deployed trailers, and we have 220 that are leased in. So remember, they have to go through a cleaning and then make sure that they're hooked up properly. Nothing, the electrical, the sewer, and all that good stuff is hooked up properly before the resident is handed the key to occupy that trailer. At the group site that we have, there's currently 32 trailers leased in. We see that number growing each day. Let's see. I think that's it on here. Again, the state and FEMA are overseeing this. So if someone does register through idasheltering.com and they've already registered through FEMA, which we have encouraged people to register through FEMA, they will have to tag that FEMA number on their Ida sheltering application and vice versa, just to make sure that FEMA and the state both know who's getting a trailer, no one gets two trailers, that type of thing. So that is ongoing. We look forward to making sure all of our residents get a trailer. There is a big push right now to get people in trailers before Christmas. So over in Public Works, there was some asphalt repairs on Griffin Lane. I know it's been a while since we kind of did a Public Works update, so we just wanted to bring you all a couple of things that are going on. Asphalt repair on Griffin Lane, on Terrace Street in New Sarpy. We've been doing some ditch sweeping. We're seeing a couple areas where debris has sat in ditch, heavy debris that's kind of messed up the cross section of the ditches, or maybe when machinery has messed it up, taking that debris out. So we're kind of going through the parish and identifying areas that just need a little bit of improvement. And then we worked on a big project on Paul Mallard. We were able to add, I guess, I don't know, Mike, what do you call those wings off the side of the road?
The turning radius.
Yeah, so add some extra turning radius on Paul Mallard Road, and we were able to improve some drainage there while we had that ground open. If you recall, there's been a couple of accidents here with large 18-wheelers that have flipped over. All right, next. SCP Report It is back up and running. GIS has been working to improve the system. It has a new look. It looks a lot cleaner. I know on our initial kind of release of it, there were some issues with addresses populating. We've gone back and made some improvement to that, allowing residents to type out their full address if they don't see it on that drop-down menu. If you need a trash can replacement, street light outages, debris pickup, and various other things that you can report on there, you are able to go back on SCP Report It, and that'll send us an email, and we will be able to address it. On the issue of streetlights, I spoke to our contractor around a couple of hours ago. If you recall, we had 750 streetlights that were identified that we were able to fix. That's those metal street poles or streetlights. Of the 750, 500 have been fixed. So they're doing well. They're working 12 hours a day to speed it up. Obviously, that's weather permitting. And they are thinking, weather permitting, the next 2 to 3 weeks, they'll be able to finish the last 250 of those streetlights. The good news is that the shipment of 200 fixtures that we were worried about coming in were able to come in on time. So they're able to get those out. And all of these streetlights are being replaced with a LED fixture. So a lot more resilient and reliable, and is more energy efficient. Let's see. Oh, let me just make a quick note on streetlights. You don't have to go back. Okay. We have the wooden street poles too, and a lot of our older neighborhoods have those wooden street poles, and there's a lot of those out as well. You all know this. I made an update to the parish through Facebook earlier. A lot of those, or all of the wooden street poles belong to Entergy. Entergy's electrical wires run on the top of it, so we are not allowed to touch it for obvious safety reasons. Entergy has a contractor. They also use their own employees to fix the streetlights. I'm trying to get an exact count of how many of those streetlights are out, but I think it's probably more than the 750 that we have out, just because I think the majority of the parish has those wooden poles. They are issuing a contract to several contractors to help come in and speed that process along. But I know that they had backlogged streetlights even before the storm hit. So we're going to work with them to help them identify streetlights. And when our contractor comes to us and says, hey, we've repaired everything, we're going to go audit the parish again to make sure that there was nothing else that was done. The same thing with these wooden street poles, because when we say it's fixed, we want to make sure they're all fixed. So I just wanted to include that. I hope to come back with a little bit better of a timeline when Entergy gives me one on the wooden streetlights, or the wooden poles that streetlights are on. Okay, the toy and gift. A big thank you to everybody who participated this year. It was a great event, and we were able to open the event to all children in St. Charles Parish, ages infant to 16 years old. And thanks to a number of sponsors this year, it was a huge success. Our RSVP volunteers, we want to thank them. They're always there to set up and run the event. The Rotary Club, the Busy Bees, Oxy, Hawnville Interact Club, the St. Charles Parish School System, St. John the Baptist Church. Valero is a huge participant in this event, and they were able to cook jambalaya for all of the people who came through. The United Way, Toys for Tots, the Times-Picayune Toy and Gift, and we had so many St. Charles Parish employees who helped get this set up. And then we want to issue just a special thank you to the Gail Benson Foundation, who came in and made a generous donation that allowed our children in the parish to select more than one toy at this event. We have toys left over that will be used for next year, and we'll probably be able to open it up maybe in perpetuity for all of the residents in St. Charles Parish. So we look forward to growing that event, and thanks to everybody who participated. Really quick, just job openings. We have carpenter, equipment operator number 1, number 2, grass cutter, groundskeeper, laborers, and shop mechanic helper available. So if you would like to apply, you can either call 985-783-5000 and speak to the personnel office, or you can go to our website, stcharlesparish.gov, click on employment, and you'll see ways to apply.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. We have a question, Mr. Fisher.
Matt, the energy, is that going to include some of the old Bell South AT&T poles that need to be replaced?
You know, I'll have to make a note and get back to you on that. You're talking about poles that are in the ground right now that are no longer being used for anything?
No, some of them had lights and transformers on them, you know, they co-share that. But, you know, a lot of them, most of the damage in like New Sarpy and part of Norco were AT&T poles that had been there for 30 years. But some of those poles, the lights are just completely missing off. Is Energy going to go back and put a light back on that pole?
Yeah, let me get I would assume that Entergy probably wouldn't put a light on someone else's pole, but I will try to track that down. I wasn't actually aware of that, but I do know there are a lot of people who've come to me and said, there was a light here, it's completely missing.
Right.
We have GIS locations on every single light, whether it's wooden or metal, and that will help us when we go to put things back. We'll be able to pull up, hey, yes, there was a light here, and we'll work with whatever agency we can to get it back up.
Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the debris pickup, is that that deadline is also for state debris collection, or is that inclusive of everything?
Yeah, so state, I believe they have switched with us too. The state we've been coordinating with the state. So when our deadline was December 5th, their deadline was also December 5th. And then when we moved, they have also moved their deadline. So to my knowledge, to this day, I think they've picked up over 200,000 yards of debris, and we're well over 1.2 million. So we're getting close to that 1.5 number that they kind of settled on. But Mike has been in touch with the state on the state debris, so if you have any questions on state roads.
Do you know how many trucks are still running in the parish? Or
I think last time I checked, we had about 17 trucks running. And to my knowledge, we haven't lost anyone to like Kentucky or anywhere else that experienced the tornadoes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jewell. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, January 10th, 2022, 6 p.m., Council Chambers Courthouse, Hornville. Items number 2021-0292, 2021-0324, 2021-0225, 2021-0328. Ordinance is scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. Due to damage sustained as a result of Hurricane Ida, this permanent polling place revision is needed in order to accommodate 2022 elections. Item number 2021-0310, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 13-5-14 and ordinance number 19-12-16 as previously amended, to provide for the change of polling place for precinct 6-1 in Muntz, Louisiana, and Muntz Community Center, 152 Union Lane, Muntz, and Zephyrin L. Perilou Firehouse, 17830 River Road, Muntz. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like the ordinance says, the community center was heavily damaged by the storm. So we're going to have to move back into the firehouse, and this will make it permanent as for they don't know what time they're going to be able to handle or fix the community center. So I appreciate your support.
File number 2021-0310 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Please cast your vote for file number 2021-0310. And that passes unanimously. Due to the damage sustained as the result of Hurricane Ida, several polling places continue to be unavailable for use. Therefore, temporary polling places revisions are needed at this time in order to accommodate 2022 elections. Item number 2021-0311, an ordinance to request a temporary change of polling places for all elections held between January 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2022 for precincts 1-2, 1-2A, 3-3, and 6-8. File number 2022-0311 is now open for public hearing. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0311. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0312, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Code of Ordinances, Chapter 13, Licenses, Taxation, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations, Article 5, Roadside, Mobile, etc., vendors, in order to permit retail sales from mobile food establishments on private commercial property. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Following the hurricane, I'm sure everyone saw there were a number of roadside vendors all throughout the parish attempting to bring food in. There were a number of questions that came from that, and the code really did not adequately deal with those businesses. What we've done here is elaborate what's in the code. Previously, the only regulation stated where those trucks could not be. We've added a system or a set of regulations so that they can be permitted, so that we can register them, know where they're at. And we've also clarified some of the special event and public facilities portions of the code where they're exempt. Everything in the code you're seeing here goes in line with the executive order that was issued a few months ago in relation to where these trucks can exist and operate. We've had positive comments from the trucks that are out in the field, and we haven't had any issues since that order was put into place. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
File number 2021-0312 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm glad to see this. I know, we had a lot of chatter about this, and I don't know that I was for or against, but this seems to help level the playing field for everybody and keep us all safe. Do you think this may have to be sort of a living document? Do you think we'll see some things as we move forward that we may have to come back and address?
It's possible. I mean, we did a reasonable but light touch in how we look at this. Other jurisdictions heavily regulate these in a number of ways. It's possible, but the activity's reduced in the past couple of weeks. I don't expect many issues.
Okay. And although this is being done to address the food trucks that came to town, this will also apply to seafood out of trucks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we may have to talk about this again when that comes up.
Michael, isn't there another provision in the ordinance that prohibits the sale of raw seafood? I think
It may be, but I'm not.
So what was there
Directly aware of
spoke to raw seafood, but we didn't. It doesn't look like it got included in the additional language, basically. The section 13504. But
There is something about that would still apply. If it's prohibited somewhere else, that wouldn't exclude it from what's.
Yeah, my understanding is it's still prohibited, so it's,
Okay.
this does not allow it.
Okay, cool. All right, well,
Mr.
thank you.
Fisher? I'm sorry, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, it states in here, permit from the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals. Should we have the requirements from the state hospital put into this ordinance? Because there's a commissary requirement, there's a sanitary requirement, before you can get all these permits. You know, we're just saying a permit. Now, that, the whole permit process, should we include all of that?
Possibly, but what I would say is we don't know what all they're going to include at any given point. So permission from the department, that could change
Okay.
depending on the
So
type
you think the general
and
statement, the
and
permit
nature.
from the state, because they have to fulfill something, so we don't have to.
Whatever their requirements are have to be fulfilled is what we're looking at.
And then the occupational license, that all has to be done even before they come in, they come before you, right? Yes.
Yeah. They cannot get that until they have our clearance.
Okay, so you have to come first then? Okay. So then the local tax identification number for the sales tax.
That comes after after they have everything that they need for safety, then they can get those things put into place.
Okay. So basically, they have to have pretty much the same thing if they were brick and mortar. They have to have the permit, the permission to be in a zone, then it would be, and then they have to file just like a brick and mortar location.
Yes, sir.
Occupation and the sales tax. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Jewell?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll withdraw my request. Oh, wait, you know what? I will speak. I'll just say we did look at other parishes and how they regulate these things, but to Ms. Fisher's point, I think that every parish is different, and it will be a living document. And if issues arise or if issues are brought to our attention, we certainly want to make sure that whatever we're doing works for us.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0312. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0313, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with River Birch Renewable Energy, LLC, to perform professional services for solid waste collection services, project number P210804. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So, let's see. Back in, seems like forever ago, in August, we put out an RFP. The current contract for solid waste is expiring April 30th, 2022. During the RFP process, obviously Hurricane Ida hit, and that had to be extended. But on November 19th, all the proposals were submitted and opened, and then graded by a 5-member panel independently. Currently, residents pay $16.92 total per month for twice-a-week pickup services and twice per month boom service, once every other week. We're selecting River Birch's B3 proposal at $14.75. This is a hybrid option between the fully automated trucks as well as the rear-loading trucks. It's a take-all contract, so if there's something outside of a can, that rear-loading truck is going to come by and pick up that extra refuse. Obviously, we're going to work real hard to get our residents to containerize everything and make this as seamless as possible. I've reached out to several other entities, parishes and municipalities who have said that it's working great for them. But obviously, I know, and we all know, that we have roads within our districts and within our parish that don't meet that legal width, and that's why we believe that rear-loading truck is necessary. But we will get new trucks and 3 new boom trucks over, which is 1 additional boom truck over our current contract. And then the reason that's important is that currently Public Works is assisting with boom service, and that takes away our employees from other work orders such as ditch work, road work, drainage work. So we want to try to pull our employees back into just doing our normal work orders. Additionally, we believe that the fully automated will help us avoid the post-hurricane service disruptions due to the reduced number of people who are needed to operate a truck, and obviously with labor shortages and COVID-19, that is making this, the labor shortages and being able to find employees much more difficult. So after you add the disposal rate at $3.48, the new monthly fee that residents will pay will be $18.23. This is a $1.31 increase per month per resident, or it will equate to $15.72 per year. And once approved, this contract would start in May 1st to be exact. But I want to go ahead and break down that cost even further. So when you take $14.75 per month, you divide that by 2 because we're receiving twice per week pickup. And then you divide it by the average number of weeks in a month, which is about 4.345 to be exact. You come out with $1.70 per pickup. So $1.70 for that truck to come in front of your house and pick that up. It's around $2.10 when you add the total fee in. So basically about a bottle of water every time someone comes and picks it up. And with the price of gas, I don't think you could go pick it up and bring it to the landfill any cheaper. So we also did a request for proposals for curbside recycling. I know that's very important to our residents. I believe it's very important as well. Unfortunately, there's still no market at this time for recycled materials, and therefore the cost to process those materials by a contractor is extraordinarily high because they have to find people who will take them, and they have to get that product very clean for the people who will. So that would have been an additional $8 per month, around $8, but $7.89 or so per month. And at this time, we didn't believe that that was the best option for our residents. But we're going to continue to explore avenues for our residents to be able to recycle because we know we have a lot of residents who are interested in recycling. And if y'all have any more questions, River Birch is here tonight. I think they have a video that they wanted to show for the council members who weren't at the contracts committee meeting.
Mm-hmm. They're going to show a video?
I think.
Yeah. Somebody got a video?
It's a new day, and while you start yours, the fleet of bright yellow CES trucks is leaving.
Maybe refresh it. No, you don't want to do that.
It's a new day, and while you start yours, the fleet of bright yellow CES trucks is leaving Lacombe to service over 45,000 customers across St. Tammany Parish and Pearl River County, bound by industry experience, community support, and one common goal: to be the area's premier waste and debris provider.
From the big town to the North Shore, now right here on the bayou. If you need it picked up, hey, River Birch is the right place, right here, locally owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Councilman Ricky Templett, Councilman at Large for Jefferson Parish. Myself and my colleagues are excited to bring River Birch renewable energy to the streets of Jefferson Parish.
Hi, I'm Jefferson Parish Councilman at Large Scott Walker. My colleagues and I are thrilled to introduce you to the new automatic side loading trucks from River Birch Renewable Energy.
I'm here with River Birch Renewable Energy with their new trucks. This is going to be a new service for our residents on the west bank of Jefferson Parish, unincorporated, as well as the residents of the town of Jean Lafitte. They'll have 25 new trucks, and this service is no additional charge to our customers.
Coastal has been great for our community.
They're at the intermodal centers for the Christmas lighting. They're at our ball fields. They're in our communities. They are willing to help our citizens any way possible.
You know, we've had them for years and have not found anyone else that could do the job better. They come through every week for us. And I realize the tough job that they have, and they perform every time.
We're lucky and blessed to have Coastal Environmental Services. They're local. They live in our community. They care about our community. They care about South Louisiana and South Mississippi and the areas that they serve, and we're lucky to have them.
In any municipality, especially somebody like Abita, who we have limited resources, price is important. So you need somebody that's going to be competitive, which Coastal has, been far better than anybody else that has even we've considered.
Citizens of Covington expect their garbage to be picked up, their recycling and green waste picked up in a timely fashion. And we're certainly proud of the fact that CES has been provided exceptional service to our community.
COVID this year had everybody cleaning out their house, and it brought on a lot of new garbage. So we brought on this new subcontractor to make sure that your garbage is picked up as efficiently as possible. So we welcome River Birch Renewable Energy to our Jefferson Parish households.
Here with the parish president of Lafourche Parish, Archie Chasson. Archie's been a little over a year. River Birch has been on the bayou, so to speak. Over 34,000 people that they've been able to service and picking up debris and garbage in the area. Kind of tell us a little bit about how things are going.
Hey Mike, glad to have him here. River Birch Renewable Energy has been a great partner with us over the last year.
Hurricane Ida will probably become the second most damaging storm in the history of the state of Louisiana.
I've had the privilege of working with Coastal Waste back after Katrina in 2005. And so when it came time to look for someone to embed with, to ensure that we would get the services we needed after this storm, it was an easy choice. Coastal Environmental Services was the only choice for the city of Gretna. Working with Gus Bordelon, his son Darren, and Barry, it's been an incredible experience. There's never a day when I have to worry about them being on the street or being where they're supposed to be or doing the job at its utmost fullest, but I know it's going to get done by them. It's been incredible to see the city streets go from being just totally, in a mass with trash and debris and tree destruction, and then to see just days later such a huge difference. Thousands and thousands of tons of debris that has been removed from this city in record time. I want to say thank you to Coastal Environmental Services. I would never want to go into a battle again without them.
Hey, having grown up on the bayou, and I still live here, it's so important to have your debris, garbage picked up on time. We all want to have what we don't want picked up by the right company. River Birch has been great for over a year here, right here on the bayou in Lafourche.
I would certainly recommend CES as a waste provider for any municipality, any homeowners organization, or entity that may be looking for a waste provider.
Our relationship with Coastal, we're very fortunate. Look around, everything's beautiful, it's spotless, it's clean. We just have a wonderful relationship.
When you look at that service, cost, those type of things, every municipality has to look at that, and you can't beat Coastal when it comes to that.
Madam Chairman, the members of the council, Parish President, Jewel, my name is Gus Bordelon. I live at 138 Kokomo Lane in Bush, Louisiana. I'm president of River Birch Renewable Energy. I have tonight with me Barry Bordelon, our municipal marketing manager, Luis Lizama, our general manager for River Birch. He oversees the Jefferson Parish contract, And if we're fortunate tonight to get your vote, he will oversee the St. Charles Parish contract as well. We wanted to introduce ourselves again to you. Some of the council members wasn't at the last the committee meeting, and we're excited about this opportunity. If we're fortunate enough to get your blessings tonight, we look forward to bringing our style of service, which we believe is the best in the business. We're a fully automated company. We push automation because, as the parish president said, in this market, it's getting harder and harder to find laborers and folks on the back of the truck. It gives us the ability to pay our drivers the best in the industry, the best in this market, and it gives us the opportunity to hire the best of the best. And that's why 3 days after Ida hit this area, our complete fleet was running in Lafourche Parish. Our drivers showed up to work, bought into our process and our vision of being the premier garbage company in this area, and we look forward to bringing that here to St. Charles Parish. I'm here if you have any questions about our proposal, the service. I look forward to answering any questions you have.
Okay. 1 second. File number 2021-0313 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was the one that wasn't at the committee meeting, so good to see you all again. I actually see a lot of familiar faces here that I met 9 years ago. So I know you guys had on, different logo at the time. So I look forward to the personal service that you guys always provided to us, and also look forward to the new technology that we're going to see. I know there have been a lot of improvements in the business in 9 years, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Thank you, Council.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you all again.
Thank you.
Mr. Bordelon, will new cans come with that? With your
No, ma'am.
service?
We, through the process, the parish asked for a price to provide all new carts to all of the residents. In this parish, you own the carts. As soon as the carts hit the curb and they're delivered to the residents, they become ownership of the parish. We proposed a price to give everybody a new cart. I don't think they opted, they chose that option. So that's not included in our price to you.
Chairwoman, just for your references, there's $1.31 extra per month to supply all new carts. But as Mr. Boland said, we own all of our carts, and that makes it a little bit easier during a transition.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perrier, again? No, that's it. Ms. Cooley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Where will you originate from on a daily basis?
2000 South Kenner Road, our facility there.
Highway 90?
Yes, ma'am. We built a brand-new facility there in August of this past year. So all of our trucks at St. Charles Parish will be housed right there at the landfill.
Any more council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0313. And that passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Bordelon, for
Thank you,
all
Madam
your
Chairman.
assistance.
We look forward to being here in St. Charles Parish, and I can assure you, you won't regret this decision, and we won't let you down. We'll work hard every day for you. Guarantee it.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you. Item number 2021-0315, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Murray Architects, Inc., to perform all necessary professional architectural services for a West Bank splash park and additional parking located at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. Mr. Mr. Dwayne.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't look up, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay, thanks, Madam Chair, members of the council, Parish President Jew. In front of you, you have an agreement with Murray Architects for the design and oversight of the construction of our West Bank Spray Park. This vision came long ago when we developed the East Bank. This particular project calls for a spray park, restrooms, and additional parking to our wonderful community center, and it will highlight the things that are going on there now, which is the Memorial Plaza. It'll be a great amenity to have there located centrally in our parish for our West Bank and all residents of St. Charles Parish. So I'll answer any questions you have, and I'll ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. File number 2021-0315 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would care to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Foray, the East Bank Park is wonderful, and it's used by everybody in the parish, right? Not just residents of Ormond, correct? Is that a true statement?
That's true.
I mean, I know I
St.
have
John
residents,
residents, Kenner residents, Metairie residents. We average about 60 private rentals in that span of the opening per year. You know, if we could work on our cost of water, it would really be beneficial, but we're working on that.
Do you think the West Bank Park is going to be any different?
No, I don't.
You think everybody will use it and come to it?
I do. And then this will give you an option. Maybe if you're from Ormond and you want a little different design, you come to the West Bank. It's only a 5-7 minute drive. I mean, I think it will add tremendous value to the community center and the grounds that we envision one day will have a plethora of opportunities for our residents to enjoy.
That's awesome, Dwayne. I appreciate everything you do, buddy.
Thank you.
Mr. Foray, do you do public announcements or advertisement for the splash parks?
When they're open? Yes, we do. And that normally happens in April. We'll do just weekends in April and May. Start full-time right at the beginning of June. Go full-time.
Who do your advertisements at?
That's on the parish channel and on our parish Facebook, and then we send something out on our email data blast.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dwayne, we had some funding through the judicial system for the East Bank Park, and I believe we do have some more of that funding for this project as well, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
And hopefully we can speed up the phase process through this wonderful funding, because I think a restroom is crucial. I think the parking spots are real crucial, as you know.
Yes, we
Tremendous
definitely
amount of
need more
value.
handicap parking spaces at the community center. That's been an issue that's been identified from probably the opening of the center. Thank you.
And the
Ms.
parking
Cooley?
will be close to the Memorial Plaza, so that's such a benefit to that area too.
Ms. Cooley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So it's going to be similar but different?
Yes, ma'am.
That was my only question.
Thank you.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0315. And that passes unanimously.
Thank y'all for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Foray. Item number 2021-0316, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 as amended, Section 22, regulations for home occupations to revise operational regulation number 9 regarding alcoholic beverages. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a small amendment to the home occ regulations. Effectively, if your business dealt with alcohol in any capacity, it was not permitted as a home occupation. So what this does in reality is ease the burden on caterers who run their business out of their home. Because if you had a mini bar or something that came with it, as the code is right now, we could not permit that or allow it to go to Planning Commission. So this takes the bar down a little bit for those businesses. It's specifically crafted to not allow alcohol to be sold out of the home, just to be clear on that. The Planning Commission recommended approval, even had an improvement to the language that's added in there, making sure that people could still drink in their homes if they got a home occupation. So, yeah, we recommended approval, as did the Commission. Thank you.
File number 2021-0316 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, so catering companies that hold, for lack of a better word, retail licenses to do events and stuff like that. So they have to be licensed by the state and by the sheriff's office, right?
Yes.
So if the larger catering company would have that stuff, so this would, the state licensing would still be required with this.
Yes. But I mean, if you were running that business as it is now, it couldn't be a home occupation. You could do it somewhere else, just not out of your house.
Okay. So they could accept deliveries, if they accept the food deliveries or?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a
That's the
limit
thing, I
on,
might have
there
to
is a
take a
limit
look
on
at.
how much material you can store in your house in general, as part of this, so it wouldn't be.
I'm just wondering, like I said, if we don't need to possibly take a look at, because some of the home occupational licenses that we grant have limitations on what kind of vehicles, what do they have. So now, having a delivery truck show up at a caterer's house that's on a residential street might cause, some confusion or something like that. I'm just wondering.
And that's something we typically leave to the planning commission to put a condition on it or a limitation, which they're able to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, you and I had a conversation about a mobile business. Is this the change that was planned to accommodate that?
That business would be able to operate under this. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Please cast your votes for file number 2021-0316. And that passes unanimously. Resolutions. Item number 2021-0317, a resolution notifying the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the St. Charles Parish Department of Wastewater has reviewed the municipal water pollution prevention environmental audit report for LA 0073539, A139862 Destrehan Wastewater Treatment Plant, and set forth the required action. Mr. DeGeneres.
Yes, ma'am. This is a requirement of our permit for the Destrehan plant, and the next two will be for the Hahnville and Luland Pond. It's an EPA requirement for the Clean Water Act. We basically rate the plant and its collection system. As you can see, it actually went up at the Destrehan plant. The biggest increase was due to the overflows that we have. We're trying to work on that. We have a plan in place to do some pipelining and some manhole repairs starting first quarter of next year, and hopefully we could try and reduce that. I mean, that's kind of what the whole plan that we've been doing lately on the whole collection system, and it's showing that we do have a big I&I problem, and if we could reduce that, hopefully we could see some of these numbers go down.
File number 2021-0317 is now open for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0317. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0318, a resolution notifying the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the St. Charles Parish Department of Wastewater has reviewed the municipal water pollution prevention environmental audit report for LA 0073521, A143357 Hahnville Wastewater Treatment Plant, and set forth the required action. Mr. DeGeneres.
Same thing. We actually went down a little here, but our biggest hits on the Hahnville plant are also overflows. but we also exceeded our design flows at the plant. That's one of the reasons we're proposing to put a new pond system on the West Bank. So this just justifies the need for that pond system. So basically the same thing. The lower the number, the better. I think that we sent something out to y'all, email that showed the last 5 years. So 2 of them came down. We've been holding pretty similar over the last 5 years at all 3 plants.
File number 2021-0318 is now open for public comment if there's anyone that would like to come up and speak about this. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0318. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0319, a resolution notifying the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the St. Charles Parish Department of Wastewater has reviewed the Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Environmental Audit Report for LA 0032131, A143356, Luling Oxidation Pond, and set forth the required action. Mr. DeGeneres.
Also the same. Hopefully we'll see a pretty good reduction next year with the rehabilitation that we're doing at the plant right now. So the age of the plant will really decrease since we're starting all over with the new improvements. So hopefully we'll see a big drop there. But once again, the biggest hits are the I&I problem that we have in the system.
File number 2021-0319 is now open for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0319. And that passes unanimously. A motion and a second is needed to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0329, a resolution supporting the efforts and authorizing the execution of correspondence on behalf of the Coalition of Sustainable Flood Insurance and St. Charles Parish requesting the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, reauthorization to outline concerns with the implementation of risk rating 2.0, a matter not on the agenda. A motion and a second is needed. I have a motion by Mr. Fisher and a second by Ms. Gordon to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0329. Is there anyone that would like to come up and speak on this deviation? Please do so now. Seeing none, public comment is closed and the deviation is closed. Any council discussion? Please cast your votes on the deviation only. And that passes unanimously.
With Councilman Dufresne out.
With Councilman Dufresne out. Thank you. Item number 2021-0329, a resolution supporting the efforts and authorizing the execution of correspondence on behalf of the Coalition of Sustainable Flood Insurance, CSFI, and St. Charles Parish requesting the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, reauthorization to outline concerns with the implementation of risk rating 2.0. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, our partners at the Coalition for Sustainable Flood Insurance is asking for our support. The latest Parish Council has a long history with supporting the flood insurance program and the unfairness that we have seen from it. This is to continue to let them know how we feel and how we say it shouldn't be what it is, and to protect our citizens. So, and I guess basically this is going to show our support and expressed the need for the changes that needs to be done. So I went ahead and we had everybody with Matt and Parish Council put on as sponsors, so I appreciate your support.
File number 2021-0329 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I just want to thank this body because I believe we've been more vocal than most on this issue, even after we were dealing with the destruction of Hurricane Ida, and we're holding a meeting at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. We're having these discussions about the flood insurance. Personally, what I've been doing when people send me their new flood policies, I've been taking those and sending them to our congressional representatives to show them that this system, the new system, is flawed. When you're looking at new construction in an X zone in Ashton with $3,000 flood insurance premiums, when the majority of people there are paying $500, maybe $600, and you're looking at new construction in Bayou Gauche where people are paying about $600, also in X zone, with new construction quotes costing $6,000, it's easy to see that this is going to stifle our economy. It's going to kill our home values, and frankly, FEMA needs to realize that their algorithm is flawed. Now, they're telling you over and over again, I've been told this by officials at FEMA, no, that can't be possible. That can't be possible. But we're seeing insurance agents pricing out these new policies. It's not sustainable. Even if our residents aren't getting those quotes, let's say you have an existing policy and your policy goes up 18% per year, in 5 years, you're looking at triple the amount you were paying before. And the worst part about it is, if you ask, what is the highest amount someone can pay? What is the top? You can't get an answer. It's because they don't know. And they don't know exactly how their algorithm is working. Now, this is something that the entire United States should be a part of. If you read that letter, you saw that 99% of counties had been affected by flooding. So this is not just a Southeast Louisiana issue. This is a nationwide issue. And I'm very glad that we are all signing on cohesively and making our position known as a St. Charles Parish government. Thank you.
Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Fisher, for bringing this up again. I want the residents to understand that an increase in your flood insurance right now is not a result of Hurricane Ida. And I think there's going to be a lot of confusion, and there has been a lot of confusion. Now, your homeowner's insurance increase, if you just got your renewal, yeah, it's probably because of Hurricane Ida. But your flood insurance renewal has nothing to do with Hurricane Ida right now. This is all to do with Risk Rating 2.0 and all of this information that was just read. The timing is very confusing. So that being said, homeowners need not be quiet right now if they get a significant increase in their flood insurance. They need to reach out to the coastal zone manager. We need to be loud. I know we've said it again, but we can't say it enough until we fix it. So the homeowners need to be loud. It's going to be diluted because these renewals are happening little by little, and no one's realizing in bulk that this increase is not sustainable. Within a year, everybody will be affected, but it will happen slowly. So let's try to get in front of it, which is what we're doing here. But the homeowners need to speak up. Every legislator that I've talked to has said, I'm just not hearing from any homeowners because we don't really know what's going on. I know we got hit by a hurricane and we're kind of shell-shocked, but you got to speak up. I want to make a motion to amend this one little thing, the the fifth whereas. Let's state Risk Rating 2.0, which has launched on October 1st, 2021. Because it's there. It's happened. They are feeling it. So motion to amend, just to change the language to read Risk Rating 2.0, which has launched on October 1st, 2021.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Which is launched?
Which launched.
Which launched.
Yeah, which launched. There you go. Risk Rating 2.0, which launched on October 1st.
I have a motion to amend by Ms. Perrier and a second by Mr. Gibbs. It's a change order, right?
Motion to amend.
It's a motion to amend, which launched October 1st, risk rating 2.0. Please cast your vote to amend. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Now we're going to cast our votes for file number 2021-0329 as amended. And that passes unanimously. A motion and a second is needed to return to the regular order of the agenda. I have a motion by Belloc and a second by Billings to return to the regular order of the agenda. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Appointments. Item number 2021-0307, Council ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority Council will confirm nomination to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Marilyn Belloc. Council ex officio appointment, a one-year term to begin January 14, 2022 and expire January 14, 2023. Nominee is Councilwoman Marilyn Belloc. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Councilwoman Marilyn B. Belloc to the ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0308, Council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Council. Council will confirm nomination to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Lysandra Gorton Darrensburg, two-year term to begin January 14, 2021 and expire January 8, 2024. Nominee, Councilwoman Lysandra Darrensburg Gorton. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Councilwoman Lysandra Darrensburg Gorton to RSVP Advisory Council. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0309, Council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Council. Council will confirm nomination to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Councilwoman Beth A. Billings, two-year term to begin January 14, 2022 and expire January 8, 2024. Nominee is Councilwoman Beth A. Billings. Please cast your vote to confirm the appointment of Councilwoman Beth A. Billings to RSVP Advisory Council. And that passes unanimously. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, Housing Authority, Tuesday, December 28th at 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Communications, District 911, Monday, January 10th, 2022, 5 p.m., Sheriff's Office, 260 Judge Edward Dufresne Parkway. Lafourche Basin Levy District, Monday, January 10th, 6 p.m., Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20, Vacherie. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, January 10th, 22 at 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Announcements, Parish Holiday, Friday, December 24th, 2021, and Monday, December 27th, 2021, Christmas. Parish Holiday, Friday, December 31st, 2021, and Monday, January 3rd, 2022, New Year's. Please note that there will be a 3-week lapse between council meetings. The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, January 10th, 2022, council chambers, courthouse. Special matters to be considered by the council. St. Charles Parish Council is now sitting as the governing authority of the Sunset Drainage District. Item number 2021-0325, a resolution to the St. Charles Parish Council acting as governing authority of the Sunset Drainage District, authorizing the parish president to execute any and all documents necessary to authorize St. Charles Parish and its assignees, designees, and agents to access property owned by the Sunset Drainage District for the purpose of evaluating, designing, making improvements, and enhancing the levees or portions thereof located therein of the Upper Barataria Risk Reduction Segment 2-Sunset Levee Lift, CPRA project number BA-0220. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So as the governing authority of the Sunset Levee District, anytime anybody would need access to the servitudes within the Sunset Levee District that are owned by Sunset Levee District, this organization or this body would have to meet and authorize that. What we're asking, and I should back up, when I came in, there was a project to lift the Sunset Levee. It kind of got derailed for a little while. We worked very hard, Mr. Sam Sholey, myself, along with CPRA, to get that project back up and running, and I want to thank the Lafourche Basin Levee District for working with us on that. But that project is to lift the Sunset Levee up to 7.5 feet, which would be a continuation of our entire drainage system. Right now, the Sunset Levee is various heights in different areas, but I think the maximum height, Sam, is maybe 6 foot. So this will bring it up 1.5 feet in those areas, and then in areas where there are low spots, bring it up even higher. But we want to get a cohesive 7.5 foot levee. Part of that is granting access to the levee for the construction of that levee district. So this resolution basically gives me the authority to sign off to allow folks to have access to the levee for those construction projects. It's important for this levee lift, and it'll also be important for any type of upper Barataria risk reduction access. So anytime we would grant a right of access, that would go through a complete legal review through our legal department. But I ask for your support.
File number 2021-0325 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0325. And that passes unanimously. Adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. We have a motion by Ms. Fonseca and a second by Mr. Dufresne. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that passes unanimously. On behalf of the Parish Council, we wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned, and I thank you for letting me be your chairman for 2021.